Hey guys, welcome back to another installment of this yet to be named thing that I'm doing. Today we're going to focus on Barrie Colts defenseman and New York Ranger draft pick Joey Keane. First, before we get into that, a little business with you guys. Obviously, subscribes, likes, follows on Twitter, comments below will kind of help shape this thing and tell me that I need to put out more content. The feedback I've gotten so far has been really great, and I really appreciate it. So just tell me if I should keep doing this or not, and what we want to see next. In the meantime, let's get to Joey Keane. Keane is my favorite defenseman in the Ontario Hockey League. He's my number one defenseman for the 2018 draft in terms of Ontario Hockey League defenseman. Just over here, we're going to see really aggressive defending, which is good because he does it sensibly. His partner's asleep at the wheel here 20 seconds into the game, but that's a good, smart play by him because, like we saw in the Rasmus Sandin video, it's okay to be aggressive as long as you're doing it smart. You can shut things down out high as long as you have the sense to do it and can do it consistently and predictably and have it make sense. And Keane does it right there. His partner doesn't offer him any help at all. One thing you're going to notice with Keane, and we're going to get a little shot of it after this puck wraps to the right defense part, great skater. Maybe the best skater in the draft class. He's way up there. He's got a little bit of edge work there. You're going to see as he gets it over to Tucker for a shot that ends the shift, just how great that is. We'll go further into that as we go on. So not only is it NHL grade skating, it's weapons grade skating at the NHL level. Look at this maneuverability that he shows. It's multi-directional. It's first step quickness. The edge work is crazy. Watch here. This is a little start, stop, and go. Watch this. Cut, cut, cut. Turn up ice. And look at how much ground that he covers with it. It's really incredible. He's got just turn and go ability for days. Such a mobile stride. Great deep knee bend. But that's only as good if you have other skills to go with it. Let's talk puck poise here. Now here's a shot. Doesn't panic, right? Has to evaluate his options. He's standing in the middle of his own slot. Where's the focus? Right here. This is the only threat to him on the rink, and he identifies it. The weight of this forechecker is on the right leg, so maybe it's okay to assume he's going to turn and go with this guy going over the top. Secretly, a quick jersey count reveals he might have a hidden F1 way behind, but only White knows where that guy is right now. If I desperately want to hold on to this puck, I turn on my forehand into the corner and hope my partner reads off me or talks to me, because I have this natural pick over the top of me here. But if I'm Keane, I've lost track of that fifth ice dog, and it's driving me crazy. I think I'd like to just flip this thing over the top of everyone, see if I get lucky with the streaker. Let's see what he comes up with. Oh, he turns into the middle, and it's a surprise party. Everyone is there. Now we're in hot soup, and we're about 45 seconds into the shift. So now they got to kind of scrap and claw here to find the exit on this thing, and it takes them a little while. You don't like to see turnovers happen late in a shift, and this one he was maybe a little too proud on and just didn't make the right read. That's okay. I don't chalk that up as a hockey sense error. I think that's an experience error, and I think he just kind of lost track a little bit about what was going to happen. It's reasonable to assume that forechecker was going to turn and go back. So it's okay to make that mistake there because it's one that you can learn from. Despite the error that he makes in the second shift of the game, I really, really do like his puck poise, even though it sometimes is to a fault. Watch here as he's going to talk about controlling the pace of the game. That forechecker just falls right asleep, really. He just doesn't know which way Keane's going to go, and he doesn't want to get posterized by him because Keane can walk by a lot of guys with his skating ability. And it just shows how in control he is. Watch him come here, pinch along the boards. He's going to get it right back. Look at the puck protection. This isn't bad for a defenseman of his size. And if you wanted to say, all right, well, what's the knock on this guy? And we'll get into some skill knocks later. This guy isn't Bobby Orr. But maybe not the greatest frame. Maybe not the greatest strength. Watch him here. He's going to get pushed back a little bit. And that's okay. He's got his guy covered. He's got the stick in the lane. But when you get to the NHL level and you're not playing junior guys, you're going to want to stand up there and just kind of hold a little bit more of your ground. You can't be allowed to get pushed back like that, but that's something you work on. He's 19 years old, so that's something that's going to come in time. Going to get into a pretty long shift here for Keane coming up, and just a chance to marvel at some more of his skating ability, to look at his heads-up ability. He really does a great job of getting his head up and around. He has terrific hockey sense. More of an offensive-minded guy for sure. I don't think his point totals really reflect that as he's back on defense here. I don't think his offensive... Watch the slide protect here. Look at him slide over and make that read. And watch him get right back over to right defense. Everyone get back into the positions they're comfortable with. Keane pretty much exclusively plays right defense as a right-handed shot. so it all makes sense. Watch him here turn, heads up, heads up. It's going to lull him into the middle a little bit, then make it to the wide lane. Just a good, smart player. Again, more offensive lean to him, even though I don't think the stats necessarily suggest it. I don't know what he has, maybe like 42, 44 points, something like that this year. I think there's some work to be done defensively. I think there's an elite skill level that's still yet to be carved out. But the foundation for this player is really strong. That's why I like it here. Heads up, check what the situation is. Partner's wide open. He can wrap it around. I honestly don't know what happens there. But they're in pretty good shape here in terms of just defending it. And we'll get into some things in a moment about what else he can be working on in terms of his skill development. Get into a shift here that goes 4-on-4 and then gives way to a Barrie power play. Keane in open ice is terrific. He's going to keep this play alive. Look at that subtle skating. He just walks up the boards, and it just opens up that lane just that much more. We talked about having that half beat like we did with Sandin. Just that little half beat. It doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it just shows how much you're paying attention to it. And Keane does a terrific job of that. I don't know what Niagara's doing as the middle of the rink is wide open for them. Keane does a really good job of buying a little bit of time, and his mobility allows for it. Watch here, he's going to be playing defense, and then he's going to get the puck, and he's going to join the rush as soon as they dig it out of this, and it's going to start a power play. Watch him here. Watch the skating ability here. He's going to stop on a dime, and then watch him rev it up. Look at this. Zoom. And he's in. I don't love this entry. The skating was pretty to watch for the neutral. I think the entry was pretty much garbage because no one was there for that, and he's going 1-on-4. Now watch here. Don't find coverage. Find openings. If he keeps going down this way, there's no angle. The forecheck recovers both of them, so he goes back up high, allows the goalie an angle. That's a good read. That's just good spatial awareness. And then here he is. He's going to quarterback the power play here on the right side. And he's ready for a one-timer. He can shoot the puck okay. I think he's better as a playmaker because I don't think he has that big booming shot. I'd love that touch even to be a little bit softer, as much as that's a nitpick. But he has quarterback skills on the power play. I don't know that he's got a shot that can score from distance a ton quite yet. Okay, so let's pick on his defensive zone play a little bit. I do think that he's quality defensively, but there are some times where you scratch your head a little bit. Watch here. Watch the situation. So his partner has lost his man. This is clearly lost at this point. So you got to slide over and I don't like players getting off their feet, but you got to slide over. Your skate and your stick angle needs to be in such a way so you won't tip the puck into your own net. But you got to get over to this other post because that's where the danger is and still cover that passing lane. He fails to do it, swats the puck away. That's okay. And then again, watch here, just a little bit puck watching. The back door is open for you. You got to be careful of that. Just a little bit more urgency, a little bit more checking, and I think he'd be okay. But again, defense still needs some work, still needs some experience. It's only his second year in the Ontario League. So we're going to look at attack zone and defensive zone situation here for Keane. Gets bumped outside of the zone. Doesn't matter, good enough skater. I'm going to get back in, keep this play alive. That's good stuff, good support. Does a great job supporting the play here. Good wrist shot go. That's a good wrist shot, good form. And then here he's going to be on the fence and watch the lane management. It gets to be 2-on-1 on his side. Good lane management, shut it right down. Puck goes into the corner, supports the play, tries to steer it out. That's cheeky and fun, but it worked. And then it's an exit for Barrie. The purpose of other than to show off the fact that the Joey Keane fan club consists of myself, Mr. Keane, and Mrs. Keane, is there's just not a lot out there on this guy, and I think he's criminally underrated. Like I said in the intro, he's my number one OHL draft eligible defenseman. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I don't know what else to say. I think he's a great foundation for a player, and hopefully I'm showing that off. Here he's going to get loose and just misses his shot going 5-hole on the forehand there, and he can't believe it, but he's got a lot of talent, a lot of upside to him. Good to see a little bit more power play time for Joey Keane as he takes a long shot there. I'm hoping that he's looking for the high tip there, otherwise I don't really care much for that shot. If you're looking for him, Andrei Svechnikov is not playing in this game, so the Barrie power play is maybe a little bit lost in that sense. You'll see here after the Niagara's going to reject this offering, and then Keane's going to make a nice little entry. He's going to rev it up. You're going to see the pass that they normally make to Keane, or rather to Svechnikov, as he's going to bank this around. It's going to work its way back to him, and then you'll see the little exchange that they make, and then they try to give it off to Svechnikov, and then he walks to the serve, and he can score from there. Instead, they don't really have that. They don't really have the threat where they can get it through the boxes cleanly because no one has to pay attention to Svechnikov, so you end up with this long one-timer from Keane that causes some havoc, and then the net eventually is loose. Some more power play time for Keane. It's going to start with a nice little entry here. He's going to fake the dump in. Watch here, he's going to make one move. Now, here's the thing, and we're going to get back to this later. He can beat one guy, but he can't beat two. And we're going to touch on that a little bit later. But first, let's take a look at a little bit more power play, a little bit more setup time, and then things are going to get a little hairy for him at the end, and let's see how he's going to deal with it. So once again, Keane is going to be the quarterback here. He's going to take a little half clapper with his hands high and tight, and then puck's going to get wound around here, and Niagara's going to pull through with it as they get 4 below the icing line and a player stumbles. So, 2-on-1, right? But they're not all created equal. Let's look. For one, this one starts in the gutter. We're getting pretty late in the setup to take the proper arc to the net, and for young players out there, if you're outside the dot line, do not skate in a straight line with the puck. You need to be making a proper arc towards the net, push towards useful ice. This way, even if you don't get close enough to make a play, you're still in the shooting line with the net. Your chest and your shoulders shouldn't be facing the end boards, or else that's where your shot's going to go. Anyway, this is a lefty coming down the right. He's not in shooting position. Keane has a strong defensive advantage here for a 2-on-1 against. He's managing the lane well here, and he's positioned to take away even more from the puck carrier without giving up leverage because player 41 is so high in the zone still. He's not behind them, so Keane has the angle, which means the puck carrier has to put himself at a disadvantage, even if it's briefly, in order to try to make this play happen, and he needs to do it soon because he's running out of runway. So let's see what happens here. We'll roll it just a bit. Here it is. Now, the carrier has turned inside. The angle becomes more acute, and the weight is on his inside skate, which isn't ideal for making a perfect pass over or through Keane. I tell my players all the time, if all you're giving up is the perfect play, then you're doing great, because most guys can't do it, no matter what. Keane is eager to shut this down, and he commits, and he got it right. The puck carrier wasn't good enough. He couldn't make a play with the weight on his inside skate and that kind of pressure. He stopped moving towards the net and started moving laterally. 2-on-1, and the puck didn't even reach the dots, much less turn into a shot. Find ourselves in another shift where we're going to go from offense back to defense. You saw Keane kind of kick this thing off with a one-timer. He's going to make some nice moves, open up a lane for himself. The defense by Niagara is just absolute shenanigans. I'm not sure what's going on. The Keane does a good job holding onto the puck and makes a shot. Now the puck's going to come back the other way, and this is the one that probably bothers me the most out of all of them. So watch here. This puck is going to end up being loose behind after it gets wound back to the point. They're going to throw it in. Now, he's got to lose this puck. He's not going to get it. And this back checker is right to pass off this second guy to him because he's got to pick up the guy that's to his right. And Keane's just not aware of the slot. And it's always about, said in the Bouchard video, just putting out the fire that's at your feet and then finding the greatest danger next. I don't think that Keane does either of those things. He's just not reactive, and he's just a half beat off there. That's probably the most damning shift that he has from a defensive point of view. And it makes you wonder maybe a little bit, but I don't want to make an excuse for him, but I'm not proud of that one. Now, he's going to end up rebounding with a good urgency shift going back the other way. So watch here. He's in good shape. This is fine. This is fine. Know your limitations. That was a good angle to that. Pick up the guy in front, get a stick, get underneath that stick. Don't pin sticks to the ice, get up and underneath him, but that's okay. That wasn't an immediate threat to him. He's going to join the rush here. He wants it. Okay, it spills. But look at this effort to get back and watch the skating. Now watch him too. He goes through one and then to get to the other. That's smart because that kind of half covers one guy and then you go all the way through and he's diving out. Yeah, he's a little late getting there, but there's an urgency there and I like to see that. We're going to fast forward to the playoff series against Kingston. This is one of the last games of the year, maybe the last game of the year for the Barrie Colts against a really talented Kingston team. Watch here. He's going to play some defense. And he's going to make a hit here on a much bigger player. I think it's the only hit that I'm going to show in the thing. That's good. He can take care of himself. He's not a big hitter, but he's not afraid to get mixed up into it. He doesn't shy away from contact. Here he is. Stick underneath a stick, like we just talked about before. Don't pin sticks to the ice. Your goalies will thank you. Get up and underneath, and he does a good job there against the same player he made the hit against. Here, maybe just understanding the timing. Okay, you're not playing Niagara. Okay, you're playing Kingston in a playoff game. The time just gets cut down that much more when you turn pro. Time's going to get cut down that much more. So don't take that extra half stride. Just start moving it out of the zone, especially if you're late in the shift. I think maybe if I had it over again and to do the scouting report again, maybe I would knock down his hockey sense just like a half beat. Maybe it's in the B category instead of an A category. As I'm going through this video, I might have a little bit of doubt about that, but I still really like the player for sure. I love the foundation that he has, and I think he has good enough smarts to really build on it. I am a nut for hockey sense, and I think Keane has enough to be a player. He's not a genius like Sandin is, but I think he's very smart. Watch here, he's going to make this rush now. This is a little cheeky, but he's got guys that are facing the wrong way, and he's going all over the place. I see what he sees there. I don't know. That's fun stuff. I don't know that I would have gone for that. It's kind of a 1-on-5 rush, and he didn't really have a lot of support. But, I mean, he tracks back into the play, gets a piece maybe there. And he's able to support it a little bit, but that's an adventurous rush. Here comes Keane here right into your living room as he's going to make his own exit. And he's going to support the rush again. Watch him come here. He's cocked and loaded for the one-timer. Doesn't come his way. That's all right. He's ready to support the play regardless, and he's ready to get back defensively. He doesn't hang out in the offensive zone and just stagnate in there. He's playing the game on his toes, which you always like to see. He makes a good step there because he's got help over the top, and that's perfectly fine. He comes back down through the middle, little shoulder check to make sure he understands what's going on. Watch here as it's going to get banked back to him, and it's kind of a buddy pass to him. Takes a bump, good puck poise, makes a good play to his partner, and he's ready to accept the pass on the exit. They end up exiting that way, and that's that. So another shift here. He's on right defense. You'll see him just briefly into the play here as Barrie is going to conclude a power play. Long shot there from Barrie, or rather from Keane. Puck's going to get banked out eventually. And he's going to turn, and I like this too. Against the flow of pressure, that's good. Let's attack a little bit more speed, and here he comes, and he's going to make the entry. Now that's a good entry, but then it's a bad pass. He thinks he can bank it along the boards there. I think it hits a skate. I don't love that pass at all. They're going to get another chance to come in with Keane here. Now watch here, and we talked about it earlier. Now, great players can beat 2 or more. Good players can beat 1. And watch it here. He's going to beat 1, then he goes for 2, and he can't beat him again. And you see this a lot with Keane, is he can beat one guy, but he can't quite beat that second one. And that's the finishing skill. That's the elite skill that you like to see, is guys that can beat 2 with that skating base. If you can just beat 1, you're still a player. As he turns against the flow of play there, you're still a player, but it's the elite players that can beat 2. And I'm not so certain that he's going to be an elite player, but I think he's going to be a real serviceable guy. Just want to show it all from the low angle. Look at the start and stop against the flow of pressure, against Gabe Vilardi no less at the low angle. He's pretty good. And then eventually they're going to work this thing out. And it's actually a kind of a marginal icing. It's the right call, but real tough icing to take. So we'll wrap it up on this shift, and I think it's a good microcosm of where he's at. So we're going to see good skating, we're going to see good passing ability, and we're going to see what kind of separates him from being elite right now versus just being, well, what he was. He was a third-round pick from New York after being passed over. It's the second year in the league. Watch this. This is complicated, Keane. He's carrying the puck around behind, makes a really low percentage play. And yeah, he's tracking back to get back in the right spots and everything like this. But watch what happens when we get a little bit simpler Keane. So Keane's going to just take the ice that's given to him, and then it's simple Keane. Little pass, boom, right into the net. So he's got the skating base. I think he's got a good IQ to him. He's got a lot of upside. Maybe it's like a Jared Spurgeon type guy, but a little bit lean towards the offense instead of the defense, like Spurgeon can do, or at least evolved into doing. So you might have a guy that's like that, but it's a good base for a player, and I think the Rangers have a really, really good player on their hands here down the line if he continues to develop.